Hey, it's Pastor Misha. Thank you for joining me at Pastoring in the Pasture. You know, I have learned so much from Tonto and Farley, and I love sharing these stories with you. Hopefully, they will help you as they have helped me to be a better leader, a better pastor, a better family member, and a better friend. Let me just tell you about a little something that happened with me. So Tonto, as you know, is the oldest. Tonto has been on several trail rides. He is a saddlebred. He's done a lot of riding in his 20-some years of being on this earth. Farley, on the other hand, has not had as much experience as Tonto has. And so when I got them both, I realized that. I purchased Tonto so that I could do trail riding and spend time with him and enjoy just the pasture, as you've seen in some of the pictures. And then Farley was purchased so he could be a companion to Tonto. Well, as Tonto has gotten older, I wanted to work with Farley, kind of get him so that he's able to maybe do some trail rides and just some rides around the manor there. And it started off very well. So with that being said, Farley has never been trained. He's never learned how to move from the walk to the walk trot to the canter and then to the gallop. So he didn't know how to transition. I want you to pick up on that. He didn't know how to transition. He's a horse just like Tonto. He understands that he's a horse. He feeds the same way. He moves the same way. They walk the same way. But when it came to transitioning, he didn't know how to transition, listen to this, on command. Sometimes we have members in our church, in our organizations, in our family, in our friend circles. They have not had the exposure that other people have had. They don't know how to transition on command. We could say to them, hey, listen, let's go to this restaurant. And it may be a 5-star restaurant, but they don't know how to sit at the table. They don't know the appropriate silverware and how things are supposed to be set up and how you eat appropriately. But that doesn't make them less than a person. It just means that they need what? Training. Or as I like to say, exposure. Because exposure plus experience equals, you got it, growth. And so I invested in Farley. I hired a trainer. And one of the first things that she said, before we get in on the saddle, we're going to do the ground game. This was an important and powerful lesson. She told me to take the lead rope that's connected to his halter, and she said, I want you to walk him. Take 5 steps and then stop. Say whoa or stop. So I walked him 5 steps. I said walk, walk, stop. And Farley kept walking past me. And the trainer said, that's showing me he has no respect for you as his leader. He has no respect for you as his master because he did not stop on your command. Oh my goodness. How many times as pastors and leaders have we had church members who run ahead of us because they just didn't know? Didn't mean that he doesn't love me, doesn't mean that he's not, he understands his position in the pastor, but what it did mean was he didn't understand that he needed to stop. He didn't understand the command. So we had to work with him. And so we walk, stop. And every time that he moved forward without me commanding him to move forward, I had to force him to back up, move his feet around, get him to thinking, hey, you got to think about this, sir. That's not the command I gave to you. And he finally got it. Once he got it, then I was able to move to the saddle. Once we get on the saddle, we do the same commands, walk, stop. So before we even mount him, before he could be used in the next segment, in the next lesson or the next level, he had to get his ground game together. This is for leaders. Sometimes you got to invest in training in your church members. Sometimes they're not exposed to everything. Not everybody's coming from another ministry. Not everybody grew up in church. There's some members who didn't go to church when they were younger, who weren't exposed to church. They don't know that you're supposed to stand when praise and worship goes on. They don't understand you're supposed to stand when the preacher comes in or whatever you may do. They don't even understand tithe and offering. So it's going to require training. And you've got to invest in training those church members, those organizational members, those families, those friends, and how to transition on command. So, of course, been riding Farley, and it's been wonderful. But here's something else that happened that I thought was hilarious. Tonto, who knows commands, who when I do the walk stop with him, does it on command. He has it down pat. However, as soon as he saw me working with Farley for a long period of time, Tonto got a little jealous. So here he comes running around into the paddock because he wanted some time as well. And so even without a lead rope, and I did the walk, stop, Tonto responded the same way. Why? Because he wanted to be next to Farley, but he also wanted to be with his leader. And so here's just another nugget for you, leaders. Don't leave the older ones out. While we spend so much time with the younger ones and trying to get them acclimated and trying to get them into our church culture and trying to make sure that we do everything that we can to make sure that they feel good, and we forget about those members that have been there. We forget about those O.G.s. We forget about those older ones who have been serving for quite some time, that know the trail ride, that know how to move around, that know how to transition from a walk to a trot, to a canter, to a gallop. They understand the transitions on command, but they still want attention. Don't forget about them. And then to those members, when you come in, you may need training. You may be a little bit like Farley, who just runs past me when we first got started and needed that hands-on training. You may need it. And if you do need it, be open to it. Don't be resistant. Don't say, you know what, I don't feel like somebody, you have to teach me anything. I know what I'm doing. Sometimes we can push back, but it's for your good. It's not that we're trying to make you compromise. It's not that we're trying to make you fit in. But what we want you to do is to be the best member that you can be. And then to those older members, that when the young ones come in, and the leaders do have to spend quality time with them in training and spending quality time with them so they can understand the Word of God. They can understand the relationship with Jesus Christ. They can understand the church culture so that they can feel comfortable coming in and being amongst the saints. Don't get jealous. Don't try to push them out the way. Don't try to set them back. But just do like Tonto. Join in the training session. Walk alongside of them so that you can be close to your leader, because that's what makes this work. I'm so excited, as you all know, passionate about my horses. I love spending time with Tonto and Farley. I'm learning so much about them, and I'm hoping that you're learning as well. So thank you so much for the great response. Thank you for sending me text messages and DMs and letting me know that you're enjoying pastoring in the pasture. More importantly, I hope that you're able to pick up these nuggets so that you could be a better leader, a better pastor, a better family member, and a better friend. Until the next time, go out and have a great time, because I know I am. Bye-bye.